Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as fans continue to file into the grandstands of Auto Club Speedway in preparation for our season finale of our third season of the NCAA Hersheys Cup Series. We ended up having 26 races. We then had our 16 drivers that would battle and chase for the championship. 3 races later, it was whittled down to the final 12. 3 races after that, we eliminated 4 more drivers. We're down to our Elite 8. And after 3 more races, last week at Talladega, we were down to our final 4 drivers that head into today's race with a chance of, for the first time, becoming Hersheys Cup Series champions. Season 1, it was Anthony McCrury. Season 2, it was Chris Dodd. Neither of those drivers are in the final 4 here today. We will have ourselves a guaranteed new champion in this series. Question is, though, who will it be? In yesterday's Almond Joy Series championship finale, we basically had to do a lot of mathematical point scenarios of so-and-so having to finish a couple of positions ahead of this person. We don't have to do that coming into this race. These 4 drivers come into this race tied in the points. It basically comes down to who finishes the best of these 4 wins the championship here today. The 4 drivers, let's document them and where they're starting this race. We don't have to look very far to find our first one, K Mathews. He is going to be starting on the pole for today's race, which in another sense is very important because K Mathews has an opportunity here to be able to lead a lap, and that is a valuable bonus point he can put towards the mathematical scenario when this race finishes. Next highest starting chaser is Trent Dunham. You see him there a few rows back, that yellow Rainick Chevrolet. He is starting 7th. Trent Dunham, again, starting up near the front, could be able to get himself up towards the front, lead a lap, and counter a possible lap led by K Mathews. But then we get to the interesting part. J Baskinger, who undoubtedly had the best round 3 of all the championship competitors, he is going to be starting this race from the 24th position, starting mid-pack. We'll have to see how soon he'll be able to get his way to the front. And the furthest starting driver that's of the final 4 is the Toyota of J Richardson. He ended up just barely squeaking his way here into the final 4. 3 points over fellow Toyota rookie Matt Haas last week at Dega. He'll start this race from the 31st position. However, starting at the back, not necessarily a terrible thing, because you remember back in our Almond Joy Series race here yesterday, on lap 6, we restarted with Connor Breton back in the 38th position. He finished the race in 7th place. You can work your way to the front here at Auto Club. These 4 are battling for a championship. The other 38 drivers, they could care less. They want to end out the season with a win. All these drivers with different scenarios, different goals here this season. We'll have to see what happens. As K Mathews is going to be starting alongside of T Walch. And here in this final season, we have the drivers that qualified their way in via non-charter qualifying. They don't have to start the rear today.
Drivers, start your engines!
As there's the command to fire them up, they don't have to start the rear of the field today. Wherever they end up qualifying here in group qualifying is where they are starting. So a little bit of a special thing there for those non-charter drivers, those 7 that managed to make it into this race. And you can see 2 of them comprise our second row, Jake Moss in the 53 and K Shearer, our Indianapolis race winner, in the 30s. So they are intermingled in this 42-car field. Well, all 4 of the championship competitors coming into this race are not teammates. K Mathews, the Chevrolet out of Retro Racing Enterprises. Trent Dunham, the Chevy out of Sega Motorsports. J Richardson, the Toyota out of Joe Gibbs Racing. And J Baskinger, the Dodge Dart out of Fitzwater Australia Racing. To my knowledge, only 1 driver has come here to Auto Club in this scenario in the final 4 in the chase for the championship. That was back in Season 1, J Baskinger, when he drove the number 95 Thrivent Financial Ford. K Mathews, J Richardson, and Trent Dunham, this is a first for these drivers. For J Baskinger, this is the 3rd chase he's been in. K Mathews, his 2nd chase. J Richardson, his 2nd chase. For Trent Dunham, this is the 1st chase that he partook in. So we'll have to see if previous chase experience is going to play a factor here today as well. Here we go. Who's going to be the champ after 50 laps at Auto Club? Kyle Mathews, Tim Walsh, a couple of Chevrolets lead us down. Green flag is out. We're underway in the season finale of the Hershey Cup Series, Season 3. And already they're going to spread out 4 wide back there. Randy Gonzales, J Bryant, Dallas McIntosh, Charles Sandfer, a hometown boy here at Auto Club. Look at them slicing and dicing their way through as they're 4 wide, about 2 rows deep. But right now, the top 2 comprised of championship competitors. Mathews to the lead, Dunham to second. Who's going to lead the first lap of this race? They're 3 wide behind him still. They've settled into 3 wide instead of 4 wide. That's at least somewhat good. And Kyle Mathews put a bonus point in the column of the 09 as he will lead the first lap of the race here at Auto Club here today. Trent Dunham now, he's got a sense of urgency. He wants to be able to now lead a lap so that way he can counter that bonus point received by the Kings Island Chevrolet. Here he comes to the inside looking for the lead through turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. And we might be under caution. We are. Oh, we had a wreck. Tim Walsh is flipping. Walsh flipping there in turn 2. Caution out. This is a battle back to the line between Trent Dunham and Kyle Mathews. Give the spot to Dunham as he gets the roll through the center of the corner. And off turn 4, Trent Dunham will get a bonus point for leading the lap here. Under our first caution of the day, Trent Dunham leads and maybe leading some laps here under yellow. Maybe this will get him an opportunity to maybe lead the most laps today, get another bonus point, but still too early to tell. I saw Tim Walsh was spinning, or flipping rather, over in turn 2. I saw Joseph Srigley also involved. Let's document who was involved in this wreck. There's Walsh starting the outside of the front row. Look like he'll finish well today. Oh, Chloe Erickson and the 26 involved as well. K Shearer, along with Benjamin Miles. Those 2 drivers actually started up near the front of the field as well, and they're involved. Joseph Srigley, also a lot of damage on our 2-time winner, the Exalta Chevrolet. Looks like some rear end damage on the back of Carson Scott. His final Hershey's Cup Series start looks like may not end in victory lane unless they can get that car repaired. Michael Norman there also making his final start in this series. Going to be handing the reins over to Brooke Allen next season, who failed to win the championship in the Almondjoy Series here yesterday. And it looks like we're going to have these drivers coming to pit road. It's almost shades of our Almondjoy Series race here yesterday. See if anybody's going to roll the dice and stay out. And it doesn't look like it. Everybody who's everybody is coming to pit road. So we're under caution for the first time here today at Auto Club. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened. We've already had 2 chase drivers out in front in the first 2 laps of this event. Well, they were 4 wide the lap before going here into turn 1. They settled it out to 3 wide, but unfortunately some drivers just having some difficulty here. I guess with the tightness on that inside line, Joseph Srigley just slides right up into Cole Baker. That car almost literally didn't turn. Baker then gets up into Tim Walsh. I think Baker might actually be able to save it. Nice save by the No Man's Sky Ford, but Joseph Srigley then breaks loose again up into Tim Walsh. And those 2 might have been the only ones involved in this incident, actually. We might have had something happen further up. And there you see Walsh's car. Didn't take much. That car flipped right up onto its lid. Almost flipped back onto its wheels, but then after a little bit more contact with Srigley, the car then back onto its roof and then begins the barrel roll as it caroms down the banking of turn 2 onto the apron. He was able to get the car refired and actually drive away from the incident, which is good news. At least Tim Walsh apparently is okay, but that's what happened there. Now we got to see what happens to K Shearer and company. There's Shearer, Chloe Erickson. Does the incident happen in this area of 3, or does it happen over into 4? Oh, actually, no, let's look further up. There's Carson Scott squeezing Benjamin Miles up into the wall, into turn 3. And J Arndt, does he make contact with the 38? McCrury makes a little contact right there into the left rear of Carson Scott. Oh, and there it is right there. Yeah, Carson Scott running Benjamin Miles up the racetrack there in 3. Miles gets the wall. Scott's going to get up into him. Oh, and then further down underneath them, looked like Dallas McIntosh hooked Chloe Erickson in the right rear, and then they went up into K Shearer, who was collected as well. So it looks like that's what happened there. So we had actually another incident, not only in turn 1 and 2, but over in turn 3, over into turn 4 as well. Tough break there for Benjamin Miles, who picked up his second win of the season last week at Talladega. Chloe Erickson had a great run there, too, at Talladega. Dallas McIntosh, a two-time winner. K Shearer winning at Indianapolis. A lot of drivers just trying to put a feather in their cap to finish out this season, but doesn't look like it's going to be the case for a number of drivers here after an incident taking place on lap number 2. So that's what put us under caution. None of our Championship 4 got involved in any of these incidents, however, so that's at least good news. They're still in the hunt for this championship as we get ready for the restart. Lights are out atop the pace car. Lap 7 of 50 is when we will go back green. Kyle Mathews' team was the fastest on pit road, getting him out to the race lead. So Kyle Mathews getting some extra laps led here under caution. It was, as I mentioned, these laps led under caution could help towards maybe leading the most laps and getting an extra bonus point towards the championship hunt. Cole Baker, after that tremendous save over in turn 1, he will restart in second. J Arndt third. Blaine Keys is in fourth. And fifth place is J Baskinger. So now Baskinger puts himself up here back in the championship picture. J Bryant restarts in sixth. Trent Dunham team a little bit slow on their pit stop. He comes out in seventh. N Hudson in eighth. Ninth, Pichu London. Dylan Pote completes top 10. So 3 of our championship 4 restarting up here inside of the top 10. James Richardson in the 11. He'll restart in the 22nd position, which is some ground that he gained anyway. He started this race in 31st, so he's at least gained 9 spots since the drop of the green flag. We'll have to see how long it takes for him, though, to get up here to the front of the field. After that incident, drivers out of the race, 3 of them in total: Joseph Srigley, Chloe Erickson, and Tim Walsh. Carson Scott, Benjamin Miles, K Shearer, they've all been able to continue here in this race. Green flag going to come out with a total of 44 laps still to go. So still a long ways in this one before we're going to find out who's going to be the champion. Kyle Mathews, the pole sitter, gets us back underway. Cole Baker right behind him, though. Both drivers got good starts here when that green flag flew. And Cole Baker going to go to the inside line. Baker was part of the Elite 8, got eliminated last week at Talladega. Was not able to move on to the Final Four, but he'd love to be able to in his second full season. Love to be able to pick up his second win of the year. J Arndt to his inside. J Arndt still looking for his first win of his Hersheys Cup Series career. And here comes J Baskinger. We already documented Trent Dunham has led a lap and Kyle Mathews has led a lap. So J Baskinger wants to get up here and lead a lap as well, so that way 3 of our Championship 4 have that bonus point for leading a lap here at Auto Club. N Hudson, though, has other ideas. He's going to go 3 wide with Baskinger going into 1. And J Arndt goes to the lead. Whoa! Hudson! Man, he just cut Jake Baskinger off, and Baskinger nearly ran him over. We nearly had ourselves a calamity wreck there in turn 1, and it nearly involved one of our Championship 4. That was a close call. Hudson not giving an inch to a championship driver in Jake Baskinger, and you got to wonder if Baskinger's going to remember that. J Arndt going to lead a lap here. Well, actually, he's going to lead his second lap. He actually led the lap before. And now we're starting to see, as this thing starts to get a little hairy and drivers start to make some moves, now we're starting to see our Championship 4 starting to make some exits from the front of the field. Trent Dunham, Kyle Mathews, Jake Baskinger, they're all now starting to fall just outside of the top 10 as John Andrews in the 17 out in front. Now we've already had, I think, a total of 7 non-charter go-home drivers win this season. John Andrews could very well be the 8th as he is out in front leading this thing in the 17 car. Jake Moss side by side with N Hudson, 3 wide actually with J Arndt. Then you got Pichu London, another non-charter go-home driver there in the 87 Advocare Toyota Camry. And Kyle Mathews has now fought his way back to the inside. He's starting to work his way back to the front of the field, as is James Richardson. We documented him starting the furthest back of the chase drivers. He restarted in 22nd. He now, last time by, was scored in 14th, and he's continuing to gain ground in that FedEx Toyota Camry. So James Richardson trying to fight his way as you see Trent Dunham and J Baskinger. They're caught on the high line right now. They got to get themselves back to the inside line. This track very much similar to a restrictor plate track. As a matter of fact, if you go over to the NR 2003 tracks page on Weebly.com, they actually list Auto Club Speedway as a super speedway, and that's actually not too far from the truth. This track very similar to a super speedway, and the track in fact you can hold them 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide. The inside line's usually the preferred line, and you usually see a lot of drafting and aerodynamics come into play as they are 4 wide. Leon Alvarez playing keys, kind of crowding each other. Caution's out, by the way. Oh, and there goes Kyle Mathews up into the wall, collecting Brady Gonzales as well, who's up into the catch fence. Flipping down the racetrack. We're under caution. We had another incident take place apparently before that incident we just saw, but one of our Championship 4 has been collected in an incident, that being the 09 of Kyle Mathews, as the yellow flag waves. John Andrews going to be the leader under this caution, and it looks like maybe Nathan Hudson the reason for the initial caution coming out, but Kyle Mathews, Leon Alvarez, and Brandon Gonzales also getting involved in something over into 3, and I don't want to say it, but that could be championship hopes dashed for the Kings Island Chevrolet out of Retro Racing Enterprises. I didn't like the way they were leaning on each other going into 3, and it almost looked like Kyle Mathews was in a very precarious position, and apparently my thoughts were correct. Now Kyle Mathews, I'm looking here, and that car doesn't have as much damage as I would have suspected. He's got some right side damage, a little bit of rear damage. Don't know how badly that's going to hurt him aerodynamically, but I think he still could stay in this race. And as stated, this is a 50-lap event. There's still a long ways to go. That doesn't mean that Trent Dunham, J Baskinger, and James Richardson might not run into trouble before this race is over. So Kyle Mathews, his championship hopes hanging by a thread, but they may still be relevant, as it looks like John Andrews and Andrew Davis decide to stay out here. Everybody else comes to pit road, led by one of the Championship 4 in James Richardson. So let's take a look and see what happened to bring out the caution, first starting with Nathan Hudson, and then the incident involving one of our Championship 4 drivers, Kyle Mathews, over in turn number 3. Well, the incident that initially brought out the caution took place here over in turn number 1. Nathan Hudson on the outside line, and they were 4 wide here going into turn 1. J Bryant in the middle. And let's see who's the car that makes the initial slip up. Looks like, well, looks like J Bryant didn't really have a great entry going into the corner. He was actually door banging with J Arndt there, and just hooks Nathan Hudson in the left rear and turns the Sailor Moon Chevrolet up into the outside retaining wall. It was only a single car incident there. Now let's jump up here, and I can tell you, just from looking at them off this corner, okay, watch the 33 of Leon Alvarez. Moves up, moves up, moves up. They're 4 wide here. Well, practically 4 wide. Andrew Davis making it 4 wide. And I could tell this was not going to be good going into 3. They were going to lean on each other, and more than likely something was going to happen. So I was really worried for Kyle Mathews, and unfortunately my premonition coming into play and coming to pass. Right here you can see Alvarez through the corner. Going to slide up right there. He might have thought he was clear to slide up in front of Blaine Keys, but he clearly was not. Brandon Gonzales, also an innocent victim involved, and up into the catch fence goes the 23 Mitsubishi Lancer, up and riding that safer barrier. And there you see Kyle Mathews, the hit that he took. Actually, I'm not actually sure he got a whole lot of right side damage, did Mathews. Might have been mostly just with the right rear of his Chevrolet. So he might be able to still continue. It all depends on how hard a lick it was. Matter of fact, we're going to find out how hard a lick it was. We've got onboard cameras with our Championship 4, and we're going to go on board right now with the Kings Island Chevrolet of Kyle Mathews and see just exactly how much damage he might have sustained. At the time, Kyle Mathews was running just around the 7th position. I'm not so sure about that damage on the rear, though damage I would be more concerned about. You saw he had a little shot there afterwards as well. Hood to hood with another driver. You can see that little buckle right there. That might hurt him aerodynamically. Like I said, it's a long race, and Kyle Mathews can just continue trying to survive. Something may fall into place for him to still win this championship, even with a damaged race car. We should be getting the signal 1 lap to green now. The lights on the pace car should go out, and indeed they have. So we will go back green on lap 16 of 50. We have not even yet reached the halfway point and already working our second caution of the day. As mentioned, we still have all 4 of our championship competitors running. Kyle Mathews is still running. There he is in the Kings Island Chevrolet. You can see that buckle visible on the hood, but just trying to salvage what he can today. Maybe, just maybe, something will happen where he can still win this championship. He restarts in the 36th position. Not too far ahead of him is J Baskinger. They spent a little extra time on that Dodge Dart on pit road, so Baskinger going to be restarting back in the 31st position. On the flip side, though, the other 2 championship competitors, James Richardson, Trent Dunham, starting a little bit closer towards the front. 5th place restart for James Richardson, who was the first car to come to pit road under this latest yellow. And Trent Dunham back here going to be restarting. I believe that's in the 13th position. Make that 12th for the Rain-X Chevrolet. So 2 drivers starting at the rear, 2 drivers starting at the front. Top 4 is swept right now by go or go home non-charter drivers. John Andrews showing the way. Andrew Davis restarts second. Those 2 stayed out under this caution. Joshua Osborne, our winner from Yas Marina Circuit, lines up in 3rd, and 4th is Pichu London. As you got 2 of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports cars restarting up here inside of the top 3. And then it's Richardson in 5th, Joshua Michaels 6th, 7th is Emmanuel Hartnett, 8th place is Sean Gallighan, Charles Sandfer 9th, and Anthony McCrury in 10th. Worth mentioning, I didn't mention this before, but the defending winner of this race 1 year ago was Joshua Michaels, and he restarts in 6th. Can he go 2 seasons in a row with checkered flags at Auto Club Speedway? We'll find out. And here comes Andrew Davis to the inside of John Andrews. That's the battle for the race lead, and Andrew Davis will take it easily off the corner. James Richardson trying to fight his way back up here towards the front. So far, only 2 chasers have led laps today, Trent Dunham and Kyle Mathews. Richardson trying to become the 3rd. He was close, so too was Baskinger, but neither one have yet been able to get to the front of the field. That's Andrew Davis out in front. Now we're going to look back at the rear of the field real quickly and see. Kyle Mathews back here running with the damaged machines of Kev Shearer, Benjamin Miles, Nathan Hudson. Matter of fact, I'm not so sure Kev Shearer is not holding Kyle Mathews up. Might be able to get by him here into turn 1. Indeed, he will. And you can see Mathews actually up, almost about to be able to put a move here on Benjamin Miles, Nathan Hudson, 2 drivers that have also been involved in incidents earlier on today. Mathews right now running in the 37th position. He needs those other drivers like Baskinger and Richardson and Dunham to have trouble during the course of this race. Baskinger trying to fight his way back up towards the front of the field. Baskinger getting by J Jefferson, now going to work here on Keith Batson. Zach Flickinger just up ahead. Last time by, he was scored in 29th. Oh, trouble! Oh, trouble! Another chaser! Trent Dunham! And Richardson! And they're still wrecking! Sandfer, London, Osborne, Michaels! And Kyle Mathews got through it, but Richardson's got damage now. He's involved. J Bryant involved. Sandfer's on pit road. Trent Dunham, I saw him driving away, but there was black smoke behind his Rain-X Chevrolet, and there he is. Oh my goodness me. And just like that, the championship hopes of one Trent Dunham have literally and figuratively gone up in smoke. There's J Bryant. His day is over. Sandfer, his day may be over. Michaels, London, Osborne. And there is James Richardson. Well, remember I said Kyle Mathews needs the other chasers to have trouble? Well, just like that, in one fell swoop, 2 of the championship 4 involved in a big incident over into turn number 1. And that could also play into the hands of this guy, J Baskinger, who now is the only one of the championship 4 who hasn't encountered trouble here today. Looks like we're going to have some more pit stops taking place here. And it looks like Cole Baker's deciding he's going to stay out. So he may be the leader when we go back green. Let's take a look and see what happened as Baker does stay out. Everybody else, though, coming to pit road. 2 more chase drivers, championship drivers, involved here, and could potentially be the end of the championship hopes for one driver, Trent Dunham. Well, let's see what happens here. I mean, this looks actually fairly good going into the corner. Looked like they were giving each other enough room, not any problem. Oh, but then J Bryant gets tight, slides up into Richardson, and collects Trent Dunham. I mean, that's a 2-for-1 right there. And Richardson nearly had the thing saved. Tries to hang on to it and then gets into Levi McIntyre, and that's when snaps around again. Sandfer and Michaels nowhere to go. London also there, and Osborne up ahead. You can see they all get swept up in it. There you see Trent Dunham going by, smoking. I don't know how badly damaged that 11 car is. He pancaked the left side for sure. McIntyre, I'm not exactly sure, got a whole lot of damage either. And then there you see Osborne and Michaels and London, and Sandfer's day is done. One of the hometown drivers here at Auto Club. And there you see Kyle Mathews slipping through and looking to his left. And there is the bedraggled number 1 of Trent Dunham. And also just barely getting through it as well was J Baskinger. Well, we're going to utilize all 4 of our onboard cameras for this one because all 4 of our championship competitors got some interesting views of this wreck. So let's take a look at our onboard, starting first with the 59 of J Baskinger. Well, let's see what Baskinger saw after he started near the field. Wow, just barely avoided running the back of both L McIntire and K Tellier, but he got through it. Nice piece of driving. Now on board the FedEx Toyota of J Richardson. Tries to save it right here. It's into the 99. Like I said, not a whole lot. Now Trent Dunham, it appears his championship hopes have been dashed. Had absolutely nothing to do with the start of that wreck, just an innocent bystander, an innocent victim. Just like that, Trent Dunham will not be the Season 3 Hersheys Cup Series champion. Finally, Kyle Mathews. Damage somewhat off the pace that allows him to get through this wreck. But he didn't slow down none too much. Could have very easily plowed into somebody. He's lucky that there was a nice wide open space for him to get through. So as we will receive the green flag at lap 23 of 50, still not yet to the halfway point of this race. Cole Baker will restart as the leader. Lane Keys in second. J Baskinger taking ample opportunity of this. He will restart in third. J Arndt fourth. Dylan Pote fifth. Kyle Mathews will restart in sixth. So we'll have to see how up to speed that machine is, but he's up in the top 10. That's Emmanuel Hartnett, Cody Lamas, Joshua Ciculli, and Zachary Fitzwater. James Richardson continues, but he'll restart in 30th. And after this incident, Trent Dunham out of the race in 35th place. So his championship hopes are over before we've even gotten to halfway. Charles Sandfer is also out of the race along with J Bryant. They join Brandon Gonzales, Leon Alvarez, Joseph Srigley, Chloe Erickson, and Tim Walsh in the garage here. He has 34 cars still running and still on the lead lap. Cole Baker getting us back underway. And you can see a very early exit to the rear of the field by Kyle Mathews. So now, this championship has fallen into the hands, it seems, for the moment, of one J Baskinger, who's now going to try and lead a lap here, which he has not been able to do yet. Trent Dunham led a lap, as did Kyle Mathews, and Baskinger now will lead a lap as well. So 3 of our championship 4 have that bonus point for leading a lap, although a lot of good it does Trent Dunham now as he's out of this race. Baskinger, though, in a hornet's nest as Emmanuel Hartnett takes the lead. Jessica Shelton now going to go for second place. And now, two drivers that are hoping a hex happens to the 59 would be James Richardson and Kyle Mathews, who both now have sustained damage from incidents that have taken place here during the course of this race. Whoa, a little bit of door banging back there between Cody Lamas and Dylan Poteet. And Shelton now to the inside of Baskinger. She'll try going for the race lead, trying to pick up her second win of the season, her only win so far this year, coming at Auto Club. And oh boy, they're going to be 4 wide behind again. Oh, careful. Oh, Gallighan's going to get split by Dylan Young and Joshua Ciculli. Gallighan, I think, is off the pace. And they're all trying to get around him. Either that or he just made a pit stop and he's merging with traffic. Oh, no. Baskinger! All 4 of our championship competitors have been involved now during the course of this race. And Dylan Young smoking. Oh, my goodness. Is it going to come down to who has the least damaged car? It very well could. Caution's out again. And you have got to be kidding me. This is going to be maybe one of the strangest championship races I've ever seen. We have just now made it past the halfway point, and all 4 of our championship competitors have been involved in a wreck in one way or another. There is Baskinger. I don't know, that may be his championship hopes done. There's a lot of damage sustained to that car. I mean, Mathews and Richardson had damage, but it was at least repairable. I don't know how repairable that car is. He got clobbered into the wall by Dylan Young. And I mean, just look back here. Look at the wounded cars. There's Richardson and there's Mathews. Neither one too much better than the other. Now Baskinger, boy, I don't know if that's his championship hopes over or not. Dylan Young on pit road. And we're going to make more pit stops again. So while that happens, let's take a look at a replay of what happened. Looked like maybe we might be able to have one of our championship competitors avoid incident, but that's not the case. Well, the lap before this, Jake Baskinger was scored as the leader, and there you see a very tight 4 wide. I don't know what it is with these championship 4, but they all seem to be on the outside line in the wrong place when cars slide up. I mean, let's be honest. Kyle Mathews, Trent Dunham, James Richardson, and now Jake Baskinger have really been collected in incidents that were not of their own making. They've just been in the wrong place at the wrong time and swept up into somebody else's mess. But Dylan Young, that was a hard lick for his SKF Ford. And Jake Baskinger, I've just been told, has taken his car behind the wall. So we have just gotten past the halfway point, and we have now eliminated 2 of our championship drivers, and we are down to 2 drivers left to battle it out. Both drivers' cars not up to full song, damaged goods in James Richardson and Kyle Mathews. Who would have thought that our battle for the championship could very well be taking place at the rear of the field in this one? There's still a long ways to go, though. We may end up not having any of our championship 4 finish this race the way that things are going, as we are getting ready now again to go back for the restart. But my goodness, what an unbelievable shape this season finale has taken on. Michael Norman, his final Hersheys Cup Series start of the season. He's already got a win this year. He'd love to be able to pick up a second one, though, to cap off what's been a very interesting career for that team. Actually, wait a minute. No, I think it's actually a 2-time. He's trying to pick up a 3rd win, if memory serves me correctly. Yes, that is the case. I mean, that would be unbelievable. Michael Norman, let's not forget the words he spoke at the beginning of the season after he picked up his second win. He said, I want to win 3 races this season to make up for the 3 seasons that I've raced here in the Hersheys Cup Series. That way I have 1 win per season I've run. And how ironic would that be, 3 wins for the 3 car. He'll be handing over the reins of that 3 machine to Brooke Allen next season. Brooke Allen, who failed to win the championship in the Almond Joy Series here yesterday. Keith Batson will line up in 2nd. Andrew Davis in 3rd. The Season 1 champion, Anthony McCrury, right there in 4th. And Sean Gallighan in 5th. I said Gallighan I thought was off the pace. That was incorrect. Gallighan is on the lead lap. and he is up to speed, so that was my error. Apologize for that. Cody Lamas will restart in 6th, Matt Haas in 7th. 8th is Emmanuel Hartnett, 9th is Zachary Fitzwater, and Joshua Osborne is 10th. And if you just joined us, you're probably wondering, well, where are our championship 4, like Baskinger, Dunham, Richardson, and Mathews? Well, up to this point, we only have 2 of those championship competitors still on the track eligible for the championship, as after that latest incident, Jake Baskinger has taken his car back behind the wall. Trent Dunham finishing out of the race as well in 35th. Baskinger gets credited for 33rd. The fact that Baskinger and Dunham both led a lap, that means that Baskinger will finish just ahead of Trent Dunham in the overall season point standings. So they both cancel each other out with laps led. For as far as the 2 drivers that are still in the hunt for the championship, well, James Richardson, he'll restart in 22nd. Kyle Mathews in 23rd. Right now, the way they are running, they are tied for the points lead, and the reason being, even though Richardson's 1 position ahead of Kyle Mathews, Mathews has led a lap today, Richardson has not. So Mathews' lap led bonus point has the 2 of them currently situated in a tie. And if it comes down to a tiebreaker, it would go to Kyle Mathews, because Kyle Mathews has 2 wins this season to Richardson's 1. Who would have thought this is how this thing's going to end out? I wouldn't have. All 4 of our championship competitors have been involved in an incident one way or another. 2 of the championship competitors behind the wall, the other 2 restarting outside the top 20 as damaged goods, possibly off the pace. We may have to go back to a battle for 27th to see the battle for the championship when the checkered flag waves. But here at the front, they're still going to be trying to race tooth and nail. Some drivers looking for their first win of the season, some looking for their second, some looking for their third. In Matt Haas's case, looking for his 4th. Green flag back out. Michael Norman gets us back underway. Next time by, we'll finally be at 20 to go, but it's taken us a long time to get to this point. Long time and a lot of tore up race cars. Norman leads him down the back straightaway. Keith Batson following in the tire tracks and now uses the slingshot to step out of line, trying to go for the race lead. Sean Gallighan side by side with Seth Cole Baker Motorsports teammate Anthony McCrury back there. McCrury, the season 1 champion. Sean Gallighan, the defending Daytona 500 winner. And Batson will clear Michael Norman off of turn 4 to take the lead, but here comes the crossover by Michael Norman in the 3. Now, while they're swapping positions up here at the front, let's go back to a battle that is equally as important, even though it may not necessarily be for the race lead. James Richardson has been able to shake himself of Kyle Mathews. Richardson now has worked his way up on that restart to the 22nd position. Mathews, on the other hand, is currently running back in the 25th position. So there's about 3 position separation, and now Carson Scott trying to get by Kyle Mathews as well. So right now, things looking good for James Richardson. They might have been able to get that car repaired a little bit more under that latest caution. He appears to be somewhat up to speed. And so right now, the FedEx Toyota looking good, as his hopes for the championship are a little bit brighter the way things are looking at this current point in time. But still too early to tell. John Andrews 3 wide with Sean Gallighan and Michael Norman. Gallighan led that last lap, but now Andrews will take the lead down the back straightaway. John Andrews was out in front earlier and actually opened up a gap. And the caution flag is out. Yellow flag is waving again here at Auto Club. Oh, look out back here. John Arndt, Matt Haas, they were close quarter racing as they're 4 wide, leaning on each other, coming to the line. And again, under caution, it's going to be John Andrews. And did my eyes just deceive me? Or was James Richardson the car that got the wreck? Like the car that's oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Are you serious? This race, I can't even describe how much this race has shocked me. James Richardson, another of the championship 4, is more than likely going to be out of this race, and more than likely by default now, with the fact that he's the only one of the championship 4 still running. It looks like Kyle Mathews is going to win this race. You can't script this stuff, folks. This is unbelievable. I think this is our 4th caution of the day. It might be our 5th, but I think it's our 4th. No, it is our 5th. And out of these 5 cautions, 4 of them have involved at least one of the Championship 4 drivers. Unbelievable. John Andrews leads under caution, and this is amazing. Under caution, they are not going to come to pit road. This is the first time they've done that today, where they haven't all scurried to pit road for tires and fuel and whatnot. So let's take a look and see what put us under the caution once again. This time involving another Championship 4 driver in James Richardson, and we may have 75% of our Championship 4 drivers not even finish out this season finale. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought that Richardson looked like he was up to speed, and this was going to be his championship to win because Kyle Mathews was clearly not up to speed. And what a difference a turn makes. Cole Baker going to slide up the racetrack, and oh my goodness. Remember back to Michigan when Richardson and Cole Baker got into it with each other? Oh my. Well, this is very interesting. Richardson was in position to win the championship with where he was running. Baker slides up into him. And look at the 11 just riding the wall all the way through the middle of turns 1 and 2. All the way down here into the exit of 2 onto the entrance of the back straightaway. Joshua Osborne getting a piece of it as well. And then the 11 car sliding on its side. But maybe I'm reading too much into this, but that just seemed very interesting to me. Seemed very, very interesting. Very similar to a slide move that we saw happen back at Michigan when those two got together. Oh, boy, you think rivalries are brewing. This may be one of the biggest rivalries of the season. And just like that, James Richardson's championship hopes may be gone. And this may be the luckiest son of a gun right there in Kyle Mathews, who was the first driver of the Championship 4 to get involved in something today. And he may end up being the last man standing, and with a damaged race car, might end up still winning this championship. Let's go back for the restart. Still a long ways to go in this one. But right now, the way things look, we're going to have to see how many drivers finished out of the race between Mathews and Richardson. But Mathews may end up winning this championship now, especially with the fact that he had led a lap earlier and got that extra bonus point. Well, we haven't yet gotten the signal 1 lap to green, so we will have less than 15 laps to go when we go back green. More than likely, it'll be 14 to go when we get the green flag. John Andrews out in front over Michael Norman, Zachary Fitzwater, Sean Gallighan, and Blaine Keys. Then it's Dylan Pote, Joshua Ciculli, Keith Batson, Emmanuel Hartnett, and Jessica Shelton. That is your top 10. Out of these drivers in the top 10, only 2 drivers that are chartered rides have not yet been to victory lane this season, them being Ciculli and Batson. And of course, John Andrews, a non-chartered go-or-go-home ride, has not been to victory lane yet this season either, as he is restarting as the race leader. Lights should go out atop the Dodge Charger pace car this time, so we should be getting the restart with 14 laps to go. But James Richardson, we saw the hit he took. He's out of the race in the 32nd position, which means that with the fact that Kyle Mathews has a bonus point in the bank for leading a lap here early on in this thing after starting on the pole position, he could finish 31st and still would win this championship. So he just basically got to ride it out and finish the race, and Kyle Mathews will win this championship. His other 3 competitors are out of the race. James Richardson 32nd, J Baskinger 33rd, and Trent Dunham in 35th. Kyle Mathews could finish this race out of the race in 31st. He could go to the garage area right now, call it a day, and still win the championship. But Kyle Mathews and that team want to finish the best they can, even with the damaged machine they've got. And so we'll see where he finishes out the day. I don't think he'll win this race, but just wants to finish out the season, finish the race, and take home the Hersheys Cup Series championship. The very first championship was won by Anthony McCrury. Second championship won by Chris Dodd, and Kyle Mathews will join the ranks of those two as a Hersheys Cup Series champion and head into Season 4 of the Hersheys Cup Series as the defending champion of the series. We still got to finish out this race, though, and see who's going to win. I mean, I don't know if we've necessarily seen our last caution yet. 14 laps to go, when we go back green. John Andrews trying to continue on with the non-charter go-home drivers picking up wins here in this series. Already 7 times it's been done. Andrews would love to make it an 8th. Michael Norman would love to be able to win here at Auto Club in his final race of the season. And Sean Gallighan right there behind Zachary Fitzwater, he'd love to be able to have a bookend season. Win the first race of the year, the Daytona 500, and the last race of the year, the season finale here at Auto Club. For other drivers like Fitzwater and Poteet, Blaine Keys, Emmanuel Hartnett, Jessica Shelton, they're chasers that weren't able to make it into the Final Four, but they'd love to be able to finish out what's been a pretty great season for all of them with a win here. As John Andrews, boy, that Ford is strong when he's out in front. He has stepped away from Michael Norman by about 3 car lengths. Norman firmly in control of second. They're battling here for the 3rd position behind him. Gallighan, Keys, Fitzwater, Poteet. Keys going to take the spot. Poteet right there, and now they're going to go 3 wide. Fitzwater up the middle with Gallighan and Shelton. Here comes the Season 2 champion, Chris Dodd. Just bypassing the Season 1 champion, Anthony McCrury. Chris Dodd hasn't found victory lane yet this season, and obviously he's not going to be able to defend his championship. The championship going to go to Kyle Mathews here this season. So Chris Dodd would love to be able to finish out the season with at least a trip to victory lane. They're getting racy up here at the front again, so like I said, we may not necessarily have seen our last caution of the day here at Auto Club. We still have potential for that yellow flag to rear its ugly head before this one's over. John Andrews, though, I think he's hoping for no caution flag. He is gone. He has gotten himself a one-way ticket to Gainesville, USA. Blaine Keys now going to bypass Michael Norman for 2nd. Norman was unable to really get to John Andrews at all and be able to reel him back in. Now we'll see if Blaine Keys can do that as John Andrews showing the way in that Fastenal Ford. 3 wide for 3rd as Keys will take over 2nd. Ciculli now will take the 3rd position as Michael Norman getting freight trained on the high side now. It was a 3 wide situation with Ciculli and Poteet. Now it looks like Blaine Keys might be able to break away from this group just a bit and maybe be able to set his sights. Oh, we might be under caution again, actually. We are. Well, so much for that lead. John Andrews' lead has evaporated. And with about 11 laps to go, the caution flag is out again. And I swear to God, if Kyle Mathews was involved, I will throw my headset. It's like Fitzwater was in it. Joshua Michaels, maybe some damage as well. It looked like Mathews was involved. I literally was going to throw my headset. So it looks like Zachary Fitzwater, who was having a good run, he was up inside the top 10, brings out this yellow flag, and we will more than likely get back green with less than 10 to go to finish out the season finale. So let's take a look at a replay of what happened, and also the question, are these drivers going to be pitting under this caution? Doesn't look like it. So let's take a look and see what happened to Zachary Fitzwater in that 76 car. Well, here it was, again into turn 3, and Fitzwater, his car never turned. That car just went straight. And he takes Gallighan with him. Oh, boy, that is hard impact for both of those drivers. Oh, Lord. I don't know if Fitzwater, if the tire heat in the right front built up too much, or if he had a tire going down, but whatever the case, that car never even turned left. And Gallighan just nowhere to go, just gets pancaked into the wall, and then, oh, and then gets a shot in the driver's side door from the Honda of Joshua Michaels, who I think was trying to get by, and then when his car hit the apron, it snapped him back up the track and into Gallighan. So basically a 3-car incident involving Fitzwater, Michaels, and Gallighan in this one. That's a tough break for both Gallighan and Fitzwater. They were both running at the time inside of the top 10. It's more positions, though, that Kyle Mathews was able to pick up as well. Caution's out. Let's go back for the restart, see how many laps we're going to have left to finish this one out here at Auto Club. Now, somehow, some way, the Fitzwater Australia racing team were able to repair Zachary Fitzwater's car. He's back out running. Sean Gallighan, however, has taken his car behind the wall. Kyle Mathews is scored in the 24th position right now. He would basically just have to finish in 31st to win the championship, but he's been able to salvage something with his damaged machine, and as stated, there's no way mathematically he can lose the championship. He will be the champion when the checkered flag waves, regardless of whether he finishes this race on the track or in the garage. We still have to settle out, though, who's going to win this season finale race at Auto Club, and we will get the restart with a total of 7 laps to go. Hopefully these final 7 laps will be under green so we can have ourselves a good finish. But then again, it's Auto Club, and we've been under the caution for a number of times today, so then again, you never know. John Andrews has had a strong car out in front in clean air. Let's see if he can get himself another good restart here with Blaine Keys restarting behind him, Joshua Ciculli, Mike Norman, and Dylan Poteet. That is your top 5. Green flag back out, and this time Andrews was not able to jump away. Blaine Keys timed the start perfectly, and he's going to get away with John Andrews. We could have an interesting battle by the time we exit turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Now Andrews starting to pick it up there out of the exit of 2. That car is really, really strong out in front, and now the battle is on for second between Blaine Keys and Joshua Ciculli, and that's going to allow John Andrews to again open up his distance with the race lead. Look at how he just pulls away. That car is flying. And we saw that from him early on. Blaine Keys going to battle with Ciculli for second. Looks like he's going to keep the spot on the outside line. J Jefferson now cracking the top 5 in the Haas Automation number 41 Chevrolet. As the battle for second continues to rage behind John Andrews' Fastenal Ford out of Roush Fenway Racing. Roush Fenway Racing so far this season has a total of 2 wins, both courtesy of the 16 of Dallas McIntosh. John Andrews trying to pick up one here today. As a matter of fact, if memory serves me correctly, this would, if he can close the deal, this would be John Andrews' second win of his career. He actually has a win last season as well when he drove the 17. Blaine Keys, though, this battle for second as he continues to hold it, but maybe not for long. Cole Baker now to the inside, along with Emmanuel Hartnett in the 97. This battle continuing for second place, and it's just all going on behind John Andrews. You'd think this was the battle for the lead, but it's not. It's about nearly almost a full second and a half behind John Andrews, and whoa, we nearly had a wreck right there with Michael Norman and J Jefferson. Also, some contact between Andrew Davis and Jessica Shelton, but somehow they keep it together. We are still green flag racing, at least for the moment, and we have hit 4 laps to go. So I think now if the caution were to come out, it would end the race. Careful, Flickinger almost gets into Norman. They are really tight back here. It's battle for second between Hartnett and Blaine Keys, the safety zone, but it's mayhem back further. Michael Norman not in the best of positions. Neither is Cole Baker as Matt Haas and Anthony McCrury go down to the inside. A little contact there between John Arndt and Cole Baker. Somehow we still keep it together. Here comes John Andrews' teammate Dallas McIntosh charging his way up towards the front. Following in the tire tracks of Dylan Poteet, John Andrews has a now almost 2.5 second advantage. Oh, 4 wide. No, Norman! Into the wall with Cole Baker. Caution waves. That'll do it. Race will end under yellow. Race is going to end under yellow. John Andrews. He was probably going to win this race anyway, whether it be under green or under caution, but he'll come around. The caution flag displayed with 2 laps to go when Andrews hits the line. John Andrews will more than likely win today's season finale at Auto Club. And the streak of the non-chartered drivers continues on. Six drivers, non-chartered go or go home drivers. It's officially 6 because I just looked it up. Osborne, John Bunnell, K Shearer, Lyndon Wright, Amore Studemeyer Jr., and Matt McIntyre have been to victory lane in a total of 35 Hersheys Cup Series races. We will now have 7 out of 36 races for non-chartered winners. That is unbelievable. Tough break for Michael Norman in his final start. Was en route to a good finish, but got collected in that. Cole Baker also, great season he's had, and not going to finish that well, and might have some drivers actually coming to pit road. I thought I saw Kyle Mathews actually. Looks like he was going to come to pit road. Yeah, he is. He wasn't involved, but he's going to come to pit lane. Hopefully he's actually going to finish the race on the track. Would love to be able to actually focus on him when they cross the line for the checkered flag, since he is going to be your Season 3 Hershey's Cup Series champion. But unbelievable. Unbelievable. 7th driver to win a race this season as a go or go home non-chartered ride. I mean, that's almost unheard of. You think about that. I mean, it's hard enough to try and make these races when you don't have a charter, but the fact that 6 drivers and now 7 have been able to actually find victory lane this season after qualifying into the race. I think that's absolutely amazing. Well, John Andrews had the rocket machine today. I mean, after getting out in front, nobody was able to catch him. He would have more than likely finished this race 3 seconds ahead of second place. But it'll be John Andrews with the win nonetheless. Emmanuel Hartnett in second. Zach Flickinger in third. Fourth for Dylan Poteet. And Roush Fenway Racing's 2 entries will get top 5s today, as Dallas McIntosh will finish 5th. Cody Lamas will finish 6th. Jake Moss in 7th. 8th for J Arndt. 9th for Matt Haas. And Anthony McCrury will complete the season as the final car to finish in the top 10. John Andrews coming to the line. His 2nd career win in the Hershey's Cup Series, and his first of Season 3, the season finale at Auto Club Speedway, goes to Roush Fenway Racing's John Andrews. He'll take the checkered flag here today. And Kyle Mathews, he'll finish out in the 29th position, but it's good enough. Kyle Mathews is officially now the Season 3 Hershey's Cup Series champion. Unbelievable season. And who would have thought everything we've gone through in these past 35 races would have culminated to a season finale where all 4 of our championship competitors got involved in an incident in one way or another, and 3 of those drivers would finish out of the race. Maybe one of the biggest championships of attrition I have ever seen in the Hershey's Cup Series. Absolutely unbelievable. In Season 1, it was Anthony McCrury. In Season 2, it was Chris Dodd. And here in Season 3, heading into Season 4, Kyle Mathews has climbed to the top of the mountain. He has won the championship, and he will head into Season 4 as the defending champion of the Hershey's Cup Series. Standings are official. The season has officially now come to a close. A 36-race journey ends with Kyle Mathews picking up the championship. Thank you all for tuning in to today's race. Thank you all for supporting this series in this season. Hope that you enjoyed this series, this season, and this race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We will show you your full finisher results. Your other 3 championship competitors finishing out of the race: Richardson in 32nd, Baskinger in 33rd, and Trent Dunham in 34th position. I believe officially for your championship 4, Kyle Mathews wins the championship. Baskinger would be officially 2nd, James Richardson 3rd, and Trent Dunham in 4th. We had a number of cautions today. All 4 of our championship drivers had to battle through adversity, had to battle through incidents they were involved in, all usually not of their own making. But at the end of the day, Kyle Mathews comes home with the championship, finishing in the 29th position. That just gives you an idea of what the day was like. But folks, we hope you enjoyed this entire season, not only for Hershey's Cup Series, but also for Almond Joy Series. We will be taking a bit of a break between seasons, Season 3 and Season 1 of the Almond Joy Series, Season 3 of the Hershey's Cup Series, before we get to Season 4 of Hershey's and Season 2 of the newly named Pizza Hut X Series. So hope you will bear with us. We will try and have the next 2 seasons come out as soon as possible, but there are a couple more cars that need to be painted and whatnot, and just going to take a little bit of a break here. We may have a series run during the off season, don't know yet, but nonetheless, thank you all so much for the support, and we hope that you enjoy the upcoming seasons for both NNSCRA series. So, I'm Seth Cole signing off. Again, congratulations to our 2 champions this season. Your Season 1 Almond Joy Series champion, Benny Watson, and your Season 3 Hershey's Cup Series champion, Kyle Mathews. We'll see you guys next season as you've been watching yet another production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.